Well, first of all, I'm going to try to play some music. I'm pretty sure this is where this machine is going to suffer the most, since the lack of the MMX extension will probably drag the computer down. It seems that I've been stand corrected because, against my expectations, the machine has performed decently. Let's install some system monitors so we can do some general performance testing. In case someone doesn't know, this software is an advanced CPU ID detection software. Also can detect memory and GPU related details, and in some cases even some motherboard details. Probably on this one it won't detect too much because it's way too old for it. And here it is. Here we can see the whole specs of the CPU. You can see how it is detecting it as 233 MHz, although it wasn't part of the official designation. So it seems it is merely adding the CPU speed to the name. As you can see, the 3.5 ratio. You can also see how it is the version with the least cache. I have to say that I'm surprised it is detecting so much information about the board, the memories, and the video card. I expected it being worse in that regard. Now let's open something a tiny bit more powerful. I think I have Everest somewhere. With this version of Everest, we should be able to do some CPU testing, but I warn you in advance that the results will be disappointing since the Pentium Pro was at the low end of the spectrum in what concerns to the hardware offered as reference in this version. As you can see in the reference chart, the Pentium and Pentium Pro are like at the bottom of the chart. So there is where we should be expecting this computer to move. I'm going to ask the software to get us a report of the performance section. It will take a while. And the report is ready. At the start, we have the system summary, which we are going to ignore because we have pretty much already seen the important stuff. The first tests are the memory test, in which, not precisely surprising anybody, this machine is going to be at the bottom because the Edo memory is not really good for a machine this late. Although, to be absolutely honest, I didn't expect the memory performance to be so atrocious. Let's go see how it fares on the CPU testing. Well, it seems that in the CPU testing it is doing a bit better. It's a shame that this version of Everest doesn't have too many CPUs which are comparable with this one. In this one, we can see a significant increase of performance over Pentium processors, getting almost at the level of a dual configuration CPU, which is fairly impressive. You can see in this other one how it is outperforming the dual system and even a K6 too, an Celeron which is based on the Pentium 2, which speaks clearly of the potential this CPU had. So we can safely say that this CPU was indeed a high performance one, even with its flaws. Okay, don't get fooled by this. This is clearly the fault of the Series CPU here. There's no way this CPU could outperform an 800 MHz CPU if it's not because the 800 CPU is horrible. But now let's get into real business with some video card and video game testing. And for that purpose, I'm going to use a classic from this era. Although the usual thing is using Doom, I'm going to be a little bit more ambitious and going to try Half-Life. Which, in theory, according to the official requirements, it should work in this machine. While Half-Life refused to work properly, it was unplayable, so let's try with Doom. I likely messed up the installation because I have never installed Doom before, and I'm not used to those old DOS installers. Well, the game itself works, but it seems that I messed the sound configuration. Probably I should have left the default configuration for this sound. But hey, at least it works, which is more than what Half-Life does. And yes, in case it is not evident, I've never played Doom before today. But hey, at least the game works, and probably the sound would work too if I knew how to configure the sound card. Before ending this video, I'm going to try another game which is not as known as these two, but it's one I used to play when I was a kid in a system of this era, so it is a good game to test. The system I used to play this game on was a Pentium at 133 MHz with 40 megabytes of RAM, so it's a good test for this machine. This game was one of the very few games which was optimized for the glide system of the 3D FX cards back on its time. But yeah, of course, I don't have a 3D FX card, nor I did have at the time. So, and in fact, probably the video card I had at the time was not much better than this one. I think it was a Trident TG9440 or something like that. It doesn't seem like it wants to start. As is what expected, the frame rate is less than stellar, but at least the game is playable. It's decent at least. I'm going to try with a lower resolution to reduce the load on the computer, is likely how I would have played it back on the day. Yeah, still far from stellar, but at least it's playable somehow. This is more than likely a problem with the video card, which is far from being adequate for gaming. Matrox cards weren't intended for this use, but unfortunately, is what I have available. At this point of the video, there's nothing left but the conclusion of the test. Can the Pentium Pro be used as a retro computer for using old software, playing old games, and the kind of things that you would want to use a retro computer for? Yes, definitely it can be used for that, but it's a rare computer which probably would be very expensive to get. I got this by mere chance for free, but they are rare computers. Rare computers are expensive, so if you want one of these, probably you'd be better getting a Pentium MMX or an AMD K6. I have nothing else to say, but thank you for watching the video, and if you have liked it, leave a like and subscribe, and you'll get more videos like this in the future.